The Bangkok retreat, the main purpose of it was to have a brainstorming session on the key issues concerning the review of the Council. I think we have reached a stage in the review process that we will be soon taking up key issues. So I thought Bangkok, since it's an informal meeting in an informal setting, would give us the opportunity for ambassadors to engage in frank, candid discussion on these key issues, not speaking from our talking points, but trying to improvise, trying to probe, trying to explain more our thinking, probe the thinking of others, to see where we have common grounds, to see what is achievable, and to recognize perhaps what is not achievable. So that was the main purpose of Bangkok. The other purpose of Bangkok was also, I wanted to have as many ambassadors coming for the meeting in Bangkok as possible, because I think as we reach a more crucial stage in the review process, the engagement, the direct participation of ambassadors would be very important. Not just the expert, but the ambassadors themselves. So I think in Bangkok we achieved that kind of engagement among the ambassadors. Ambassadors became more familiar with the intricacies of the issue, and ambassadors seemed to be ready to engage substantively in the discussions that lie ahead. In Bangkok, since I wanted this meeting to be brainstorming, to have some kind of focus, so I took a little bit of a different approach in Bangkok. Up to now, the review process, we have been going cluster by cluster based on the so-called IB package, the institutional building package of the Council. But in Bangkok, we try to relate what we are doing in the process of the review to how we can enhance the work and functioning of the Council. Because under Resolution 6251, the review to be undertaken by the Council is the review of the work and functioning of the Council. So naturally, as a consequence of our review, we should be able to enhance the work and functioning of the Council. So in that context of the work and functioning of the Council, I had raised or posed 3 questions which I believe are integral to the work and functioning of the Council. 3 questions which provided sort of the grounds for our discussion. The first question was, how can we make the Council more efficient and effective, maximizing our time and resources and improving the culture of work? The second question is, how can the Council have more impact on the ground, make a difference in the lives of people? And third is, how can the Council do better in terms of dealing with the emergency situation, country situation? Because I see these 3 questions as being central to this review process, and as being central to enhancing the work and functioning of the Council. It was a brainstorming, so we did not seek to arrive at a decision or decisions. We did not seek to arrive at concrete outcomes, because we have to be mindful of the fact that not everyone attended the so-called Bangkok retreat. So the purpose was more to achieve greater clarity of the issues, greater clarity of the positions, greater clarity where the common grounds exist, greater clarity where we don't have common grounds. So hopefully, because of Bangkok, the picture will be clearer when we return to the formal process here in Geneva. But I do see some key issues that we converge on. First, streamlining the workload of the council, because we do have a heavy workload. So now discussion seems to be evolving around the idea of having 2 instead of 3 sessions of the council, but at the same time having 3 consolidated UPR sessions, whereby we would have plenary sessions of the council as part of this consolidated UPR sessions. And of course the details will have to be worked out. I think there's an agreement that we have to do better in terms of the resolutions that we adopt. We have to give these resolutions better consideration, more advanced consultations. We have to be aware of the financial implications of the resolutions that we pass in the council. And also, just this issue that has been nagging us for a long time is how to reduce the documentation, the number of reports, because we have so many reports that are not seriously taken up. And if we're going to have reports, how can we have these reports on time so that we can have a thorough consideration before we have discussion in the council? So these are issues where I think many delegations' positions converge. Also, in terms of impact on the ground, that is the UPR, because the UPR is the main mechanism whereby the council can have impact on the ground. We had a discussion on the second cycle, the importance of follow-up on implementation, how to make the recommendations more implementable, more clearer, how to enhance technical cooperation to assist countries in implementing the UPR recommendations, how to mainstream UPR and human rights as a whole in the UN system, especially at the country level by way of the UN country team. There's also a general consensus, I think, of having an annual session in Geneva whereby we would bring the heads of important UN agencies to have a panel discussion on mainstreaming of human rights in the UN system. So there's a general agreement on that as well. So I think that's another area, impact mainstreaming, where we converge, but of course the details will have to be discussed. Then, of course, on the country situation, which many believe is important to the credibility of the Council, the ability to react to urgent issues, we have to see whether we have the tools, enough tools. Do we need new tools? Do we need so-called incremental approach? Depending on the circumstances of the situation, the urgent circumstances of the urgent situation that we're dealing with. Do we need trigger mechanisms? Some countries have proposed trigger mechanisms. Many countries feel that if we're going to have any mechanism, it should be within the Council, not outside the Council. On the issue of trigger mechanisms, because it's proposals have been made to have independent trigger mechanisms, but at the same time, many delegations, many countries feel that this has to be considered very carefully, and if there's going to be any mechanism, it should be within the Council rather than outside the Council. So dealing better with country situation is another issue that we have to discuss. There are proposals on the table. I think on country situation, the points of views, there is quite a large gap. I think we have to work on this. I hope that we can arrive at some kind of a compromise whereby we can have the means which would enable the Council to do better in dealing with the emergency situation. But the discussions will have to continue in January. Well, the next step for the review, of course, we cut in January. The 5 facilitators will have to continue their work. Again, to try to bring about more areas of convergence and also to narrow the gaps and also to identify issues where we really diverge and perhaps there's little chance of reaching agreement on these issues, and let's concentrate on issues where we can converge, we have converged. So hopefully that will be the task of the facilitators in January. Of course, parallel to the work of the facilitators, I think, is the informal consultations that will have to be that will have to take place, that will have to that we will need to have more of to thrash out some of these key issues. We need to try to get ambassadors to work more on these issues. So hopefully I will be trying to lead that process in January. And if we, by the end of January, perhaps we could have a clear idea of what can be achieved. And then maybe we work when we have the second session of the working group on the review to come up with a supplement to the IB package. And in addition to the supplement, I think we have to prepare a report on the review to be sent to New York as well. The report will be used by New York as a basis for their review of the status of the Council. I believe that the review that we will be submitting to New York, of course, we will be conveying the supplement to the IB package, which hopefully we can agree on. And of course, the report will report on the discussions we've had here in Geneva, where we converge some of the important issues that we addressed. Perhaps we have to reflect some of the points where we did not converge, the key points. And also, there should be a part on the so-called overlapping issues between New York and Geneva, and that relates specifically to the issue of the relationship between the Council, the GA, and the Third Committee. And that relates to the resolutions that we adopt, the reporting line, the approval of resolutions, the approval of budget for resolutions. So this is the process going forward. As I said, efficient, effective, having impact on the ground, making a difference to the lives of people, delivering to those in need of human rights protection, and doing better in dealing with urgent situation in a constructive, cooperative, and timely manner. So these are expectations that I have of the review process. Probably we won't be able to achieve everything, but at least we will be able to do better on these important fronts, on these important issues.